Have you ever caught a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and wondered how much you've truly changed over the years? Aging is a journey we all embark on, often filled with unexpected twists and profound lessons. In this video, we'll explore the true essence of aging gracefully, uncovering the hidden strengths and wisdom that come with each passing year. Stay with us to discover practical tips, inspiring stories, and empowering insights that will help you embrace every stage of life with confidence and joy. Whether you're looking to navigate the challenges or celebrate the triumphs of growing older, this conversation is for you. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. There comes a moment in life, often somewhere in our 40s or 50s, when we are jolted by a startling realization. It's the moment we become fully aware of how fast the train of life is moving, racing forward with a speed that almost takes our breath away. In our youth, time seemed to stretch endlessly before us, limitless, abundant, something we took for granted. But as the years pass, the weight of time grows heavier. By the time we reach our 60s or 70s, it becomes impossible to ignore. Time does not wait. The days, once long and leisurely, now seem to fly by in the blink of an eye, slipping through our fingers like sand. And yet, here's the undeniable truth. We cannot stop this train, no matter how much we might wish to, no matter how tightly we might cling to the past. We can't slow it down. We can't turn back the clock. But here's the beauty in all of this. We do have control over how we choose to travel through this part of our journey. Life presents us with a choice. Will we spend our later years looking backward, lamenting the loss of our youth, wishing for the days when we were more agile, more carefree, and more full of energy? Or will we make the conscious decision to embrace the ride, to open ourselves up to the richness of the present moment, to the wisdom and growth that only come with age? It is in this decision that we find the true essence of maturity. You see, aging is inevitable. Our bodies will change whether we like it or not. But maturing, now that's a different story. Maturity is something we cultivate. It's how we respond to the changes in our bodies, our minds, and our lives. It's how we choose to carry ourselves, how we choose to see ourselves, and how we choose to engage with the world around us. Let's explore this idea of aging and maturity further. Physical aging is, in many ways, out of our hands. The signs of age are often visible. Our hair turns gray or thins. Our skin shows the passage of time, and our bodies may no longer move with the same ease or speed they once did. This is a reality we all face, with no exceptions. But the way we age internally, emotionally, and mentally, that's where we have power. Maturing is about cultivating a mindset of acceptance, grace, and wisdom. It's about recognizing that while the body may change, our spirit remains just as capable of growth, transformation, and renewal. True maturity means embracing life's changes not with fear or resistance, but with courage and understanding. It's the quiet strength that comes from knowing that our worth is not tied to our physical appearance or abilities, but to the depth of our character, the richness of our experiences, and the kindness we extend to ourselves and others. I once had the privilege of knowing a man who embodied this idea of aging gracefully. He was in his 80s, a retired teacher who had lived a life of quiet dignity and service. He wasn't the type of person who sought the spotlight. Quite the opposite. He moved through life with a gentle humility that made people gravitate toward him without him ever needing to raise his voice or assert his presence. What was remarkable about him wasn't just the wisdom he had accumulated over the years, but the way he carried it. He never boasted about his accomplishments and never felt the need to remind others of his age or his experiences. Yet, when he spoke, people listened. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you are still here with me. His words were deliberate, thoughtful, and full of insight. There was a calmness about him, an unshakable sense of self that came from a lifetime of reflection, learning, and acceptance. He didn't try to act younger than he was. He didn't bemoan the fact that he was no longer the energetic young man he once had been. Instead, he embraced his age fully. He recognized that with each passing year came not only physical changes, but also opportunities for greater understanding, deeper connections, and a more profound sense of peace. This man taught me an invaluable lesson. Aging gracefully isn't about clinging to the past or trying to hold on to youth. It's about accepting the natural progression of life with open arms and an open heart. It's about recognizing that while our bodies may grow older, our minds, our hearts, and our spirits remain fertile ground for growth. We can continue to learn, evolve, and become better versions of ourselves, no matter our age. Aging gracefully means nurturing the qualities that matter most: our kindness, our compassion, our curiosity, and our capacity for love. But aging in a society that often glorifies youth can be an incredibly difficult journey. We live in a world that seems to place so much value on appearance, vitality, and physical strength, often forgetting the immeasurable beauty of wisdom, patience, and experience. There are so many stereotypes about older people. Stereotypes that are not only false, but deeply harmful. How many times have we heard people say that older generations are stuck in their ways or out of touch with the modern world? How often are we made to feel irrelevant simply because we have more years behind us than ahead? The truth is, these stereotypes couldn't be further from reality. We, who have lived through so many changes, have adapted to new technologies, new ideas, and new ways of thinking. We've weathered storms and embraced revolutions in culture, science, and society. We are not relics of the past. We are resilient survivors of time's many tests. However, the challenge lies not only in pushing back against these negative stereotypes, but also in ensuring that we don't internalize them. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we start to believe the lies society tells about aging. We begin to doubt our relevance, our capacity to grow, or our ability to contribute meaningfully. But we must remember, we are still here, still learning, still capable of great things. One trap that's easy to fall into as we age is dominating conversations with stories of our past. It's only natural. We've lived long enough to have accumulated a wealth of experiences, and we want to share them. But there's a delicate balance between sharing our wisdom and overshadowing the voices of others, especially the younger generations. Conversations are not meant to be one-sided monologues. They're opportunities for connection, for learning, and for mutual growth. We must remember that listening can be just as powerful as speaking. When we take the time to truly listen to others, especially to the younger people around us, we not only learn from their fresh perspectives, but we also show them respect. And respect, when it flows in both directions, builds bridges between generations. It fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships. So, how do we avoid falling into the pitfalls of aging in a youth-centric world? It begins with mindfulness. We must stay mindful of the stories we tell ourselves about aging. We must resist the urge to see ourselves as less capable, less valuable, or less relevant simply because we've crossed a certain threshold of years. Instead, we must embrace the truth. We are a vital part of the human story, and our wisdom, our resilience, and our experiences are gifts to be shared with those around us. Aging gracefully means choosing to stay engaged, to keep learning, to nurture our curiosity, and to cultivate the relationships that enrich our lives. It means recognizing that while time may change our bodies, it cannot diminish our capacity to love, grow, and find joy in the world around us. So, as we journey through this later stage of life, let's commit to embracing the ride with open hearts and open minds. Let's savor the moments, big and small, and continue to evolve with grace, wisdom, and courage. After all, the journey isn't over. It's just taking us to new and beautiful places. Another behavior we should be mindful of, especially as we grow older, is the tendency to boast excessively. Now, don't misunderstand me. There is absolutely nothing wrong with taking pride in our achievements. We've lived long, full lives, and the things we've accomplished should be celebrated. But there's a fine line between sharing a story from a place of joy and constantly bringing up our successes in a way that feels like we're seeking validation. Humility is, without question, one of the most attractive and powerful qualities we can cultivate, particularly in our later years. When we release the need to prove ourselves to others, we create space for deeper, more meaningful connections. Instead of conversations being one-sided and focused on our past victories, they can become richer and more balanced, where both parties feel seen and heard. By letting go of the need to highlight our accomplishments, we invite others into our lives with an authenticity that nurtures genuine relationships. There's something profoundly beautiful about someone who carries their accomplishments with quiet dignity. Think about the people you admire most. It's likely not those who constantly remind you of their successes, but those who are comfortable in their skin, who know their worth without needing to shout it from the rooftops. True strength, real wisdom, comes from knowing that we are enough, just as we are. Our experiences, our victories, and even our failures have shaped us into the people we become, and we don't need to continuously broadcast them to be valuable. Instead, we can live in a way that radiates confidence and peace, allowing our actions and our character to speak for us. Another pitfall to avoid as we age is the habit of making quick judgments. It's so easy to think, I've lived long enough, I've seen this before, I know exactly how this will turn out. And while experience does provide us with a valuable lens through which to view the world, it's important to remember that life has a way of surprising us, even in our later years. No matter how much we've seen or done, the world is constantly changing, and there is always more to learn. By keeping an open mind, by staying curious rather than closed off, we allow ourselves to continue evolving. This openness not only helps us grow individually, but also keeps us connected to the people and the world around us. Life is dynamic, and when we remain open to its ever-changing nature, we invite in new experiences, new insights, and new connections that can enrich our lives. Snap judgments can cut us off from opportunities we didn't even know existed. They can create barriers between us and others, preventing deeper understanding and empathy. Every person and every situation has layers that are not always visible at first glance. When we rush to conclusions, we miss the nuances that could deepen our understanding. By practicing patience, by allowing ourselves to fully see and hear others before forming opinions, we invite a greater sense of harmony into our lives. Staying curious keeps us engaged, it keeps us learning, and it keeps us connected to the ever-evolving tapestry of life. It's a way of saying to the world, I'm still here and I'm still growing. Now, let's talk about something a bit more personal, our appearance. It can be easy, especially as we get older, to fall into the trap of neglecting how we present ourselves to the world. After all, comfort often takes precedence over style as we age, and many of us may feel like there's less of a need to focus on how we look. But here's the truth. How we present ourselves to the world has a direct impact on how we feel about ourselves. It's not about trying to look younger or keeping up with the latest fashion trends. It's about maintaining a sense of pride and dignity in who we are, no matter what stage of life we're in. A little self-care can go a long way in boosting our confidence and helping us feel more connected to ourselves. There is something incredibly powerful about looking in the mirror and liking what we see, regardless of age. Taking the time to dress in a way that makes us feel good, grooming ourselves in a way that reflects self-respect, and embracing the changes in our appearance rather than resisting them. All of this feeds into our sense of identity and self-worth. It's not about vanity. It's about recognizing that we are worth the effort. When we neglect our appearance, we may unconsciously send a message to ourselves that we don't matter as much anymore. But the opposite is true. Every stage of life matters, and every version of ourselves deserves to be honored. Maintaining our appearance is a form of self-respect, a way of acknowledging that we are still vibrant and still deserving of care and attention. Finally, let's discuss the delicate issue of respect. As we age, it's natural to feel that we deserve respect simply because we've lived longer, seen more, and accumulated more experience. And while it's true that age often brings wisdom, respect is not something we can demand based solely on the number of years we've lived. Respect is earned through our actions, our kindness, and the way we treat others. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that because we're older, we automatically deserve a certain level of deference. But here's the thing, respect isn't given, it's cultivated. It's something we inspire in others through our integrity, our humility, and our generosity of spirit. Demanding respect based on age alone can alienate us from the very people we seek connection with. True respect comes from how we use the wisdom we've gained. Are we using it to uplift others, to mentor, to guide with compassion? Or are we using it to assert our superiority, to remind others of how much we've done or how much we know? The former leads to deeper connections, to relationships built on mutual understanding and admiration. The latter, however, can create distance and resentment. We must remember that respect flows both ways. By showing respect to others, regardless of their age or experience, we model the kind of behavior that invites respect in return. It's not about demanding, it's about deserving, through kindness, through wisdom, through the way we live our lives. So, how do we put these ideas into practice? It's one thing to talk about avoiding certain behaviors, but translating these intentions into our everyday lives takes conscious effort. It all starts with self-awareness, being present enough to recognize our habits, our tendencies, and our reactions in the moment. Self-awareness is a foundation for meaningful change, and it requires us to pause and take a hard look at how we interact with others and how we treat ourselves. Imagine you're in a conversation with someone, and you catch yourself steering the discussion back to your own experiences, maybe even dominating the conversation without meaning to. In that moment, instead of continuing down that path, take a step back. Try asking more questions. Shift the focus onto the other person and show genuine interest in their story, their thoughts, and their experiences. It's incredible how much richer a conversation can become when we actively listen instead of waiting for our turn to speak. This small adjustment not only deepens our connections with others, but also teaches us the invaluable skill of humility. We begin to realize that life is not about proving how much we know or how much we've accomplished. It's about creating space for others to shine as well. Similarly, when you notice that you're feeling the urge to boast or mention past achievements, take a moment to reflect. Why do you feel the need to bring it up? Are you looking for validation? Or is there perhaps a deeper insecurity at play? Often, we boast because we want to feel important or valued, but the true connection doesn't come from proving ourselves to others. It comes from being vulnerable and authentic, from showing who we are without the need to impress. Instead of boasting, try sharing something that opens up a more meaningful dialogue, a lesson you've learned, a challenge you faced, or even a mistake you've made. These kinds of conversations bring us closer to others because they're rooted in truth rather than ego. Self-reflection isn't always comfortable. It forces us to confront the habits and patterns that might not be serving us well. But here's the thing. Self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools we have to age with grace and wisdom. By regularly checking in with ourselves, we can identify behaviors that no longer align with the person we want to be and replace them with actions that bring more joy, connection, and peace into our lives. It's about growth, allowing ourselves a space to evolve, no matter our age. Another way to put these ideas into practice is to nurture a sense of curiosity about the world. Stay curious. Never stop learning, no matter how many years you've lived. This doesn't mean you have to enroll in formal classes or tackle complex subjects, although you certainly could. It could be as simple as picking up a new book, trying a hobby you've always been intrigued by, or engaging in conversations with people of all ages and backgrounds. Curiosity keeps the mind active and open, reminding us that there is always something new to explore, something fresh to discover. It's a way of keeping our hearts and minds young, of staying engaged with life even as we age. Curiosity invites wonder, and that sense of wonder is what keeps the world vibrant and full of possibilities. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Equally important is maintaining a connection to our physical bodies through movement. As we age, it's easy to feel discouraged by the changes in our physical abilities. Our bodies may not be as strong or flexible as they once were, but that doesn't mean we should abandon movement altogether. Staying active, whether through walking, yoga, stretching, or whatever form of exercise feels good to you, helps us not only maintain our physical health, but also boost our mental and emotional well-being. Movement is a way of engaging with life, of reminding ourselves that we're still capable of growth, still capable of joy. It doesn't have to be intense or rigorous. Even small acts of movement help us stay grounded, connected to the world, and appreciative of the body we have, regardless of its age. Moving our bodies also brings a sense of vitality, reminding us that we are still capable of new experiences. It's a way of reinforcing the belief that we are not stagnant, that even in our later years, we are still evolving, still able to adapt, and still able to enjoy life. The simple act of walking through nature, for example, can reconnect us with a sense of awe for the world around us. It can be a moving meditation that nourishes both body and soul. It's about finding joy in movement rather than focusing on what we can no longer do. Celebrate what your body can do and appreciate the gift of mobility in whatever form it comes. On top of these practical steps, we must also remember to treat ourselves with kindness and compassion throughout this process. Aging gracefully isn't about striving for perfection. It's about embracing our imperfections with love and acceptance. There will be moments when we fall back into old habits, when we speak too much or judge too quickly, but that's okay. The goal is not to be flawless, but to be conscious. With awareness comes the power to choose differently the next time. Incorporating these practices into our daily lives allows us to age not just with grace, but with vitality and purpose. It's a way of saying, I'm still here, I'm still growing, and I still have so much to offer. By staying self-aware, curious, physically engaged, and humble, we allow ourselves to remain connected to life, to others, and to the truest, most authentic parts of ourselves. Aging is not the end of the journey. It's another chapter, one that can be filled with just as much joy, discovery, and connection as any other stage of life. So, Let's embrace it fully, knowing that we have the power to shape our experience every step of the way. As we bring this discussion to a close, it's important to remember that aging gracefully is not just about avoiding certain behaviors, but about embracing self-awareness, curiosity, and a deeper connection to ourselves and others. The choices we make today shape the way we experience life tomorrow. So, now I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned so far? What's one thing you'll take from this conversation and bring into practice in your own life? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Your support means everything, and we can't wait to continue this journey with you.